to understand what is coming out of my mouth. And later on, I'm going to ask you, do you understand what is coming out of my mouth? That's for all the sinners that watch that movie. Okay, so I have a word for you guys, and I was going to a different part of the Bible, and last night I really have an intense dream. And how many guys speak to you sometime through dreams? Well, it was so real, but I'm not going to talk about the dream. For those that are curious and interested, maybe I'll share tonight if you come back. I'm going to talk about the message in the dream and the message that God wants for me to share with you. So I pray that I will be a good donkey today. A good donkey that carry His word. I always say I love donkeys because they correct prophets. Do we have any prophet here? So everybody is like, I'm not a prophet no more. We have a donkey here. No, so I was going to talk about servanthood. Some people believe that they're self-more, but the truth is, the only one that is more is Jesus in us. Even when you look, I was going to talk about Ephesians 4, the fivefold ministry, but I was going to talk about the importance that all those ministries are to do one ministry, which is serve. We have David Perry talking about mission, and so I'm excited because I'm part of mission too, which I encourage you to come. And July 16th, we already put that in announcement. So before I proceed and forget, we are going to take our kids to kids camp. So for those that are interested in sending your kid to kids camp, talk to me later. There are, the prices between $330 to $350, depending. The dates are going to be July the 29th to August the 1st. So we do need to hurry up and get this done. So Joy probably will send you an email tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. You can talk to me later on today, and we are going to close it up hopefully by next Sunday. So please send your kids. What age? Good question. Well, talk to me and I tell you the age. Joy will tell you the age. I know that it's second grader and up to sixth grade, I think. So, but I will give you the details by the end of the service. I did not write it down. So it is second grade. If it's in first grade, cannot go. It have to be second grade or not. So I'll give you those details. But the reason even that we want to do this is because there's an important, and you're going to see it today, in what we are raised. And like for example, I'm raised as an Argentinian. So there you go. You probably have seen this. We lost against France. I know we lost. And yes, Brother Bill said, Damian, you sometimes speak of what you're going through. Yes, we lost yesterday, so I'm going through this, Bill. But it's not the main message today, Bill. The main message is what God woke me up last night. So, but I was raised with this, and it's so interesting because as I've been raised, when it's a World Cup or anytime Argentina play, man, if we make a goal, it's like, ah! There's no joke, man. It's just like so much passion. Yes. Is that real or not? You play soccer, but so I couldn't go for America. Now, if for those that want to send me out of the country, I'm sorry, I'm an American citizen. Yes. So I have the proof right here, the American passport. Okay, so I'm American, but in this World Cup, I couldn't go for America because they were disqualified before they even start. Oh. Sorry. So I couldn't go for Argentina. Obviously, I'm going to go for Argentina because, and we're going to talk about that no matter what, if you lose, the Bible said the faith, hope, but above all, love. We can have faith in our team, but faith is a certainty, so that certainty sometimes doesn't work because it's not made for them to be the champion. So hope is done. They're going home. But love, who can take that love away from me? Okay, so that's the passion of your team, but we're going to go there in a little bit more later. Now, Argentina is going to the World Cup. I don't have the Spanish shirt, but you know what? I'm a citizen from Spain too. So they're playing today. They were winning. So I could go for Spain. Yeah, baby. United States out, Argentina's out, but Spain's still in. And this is my proof right here. I was telling Brother Parrish, I do have a passport from Spain too. All right. So what else? Well, Russia. My grandfather is Russia. They're playing too, but I'm probably go. Now, I could go for Brazil. Woohoo! So, why? They are my neighbors. Why not? They're playing tomorrow. And they're passionate too. But above all these, what I was really thinking is, why that I'm so passionate even though that I could be switching teams about Argentina? Well, because I was raised on it. Not only raised, as I'm being raised as an Argentinian, I'm seeing my parents, my grandparents, everybody's so passionate about this team. And even though that I live in the United States, I'm an American citizen, there's still that passion inside of me. Somebody asked me, what happens if your Argentina play against USA? Well, I will hope for the best to win, but inside of me, I already know who I won. I'm not going to tell you, but I was raised on it. It's in my blood. And said, well, go back to your country. Well, you go to your country. Go check in ancestries. You probably come from Germany or from other country anyway. So why do you don't go to your own country? If you're not Native American, then you're not American. And by the way, American, I'm South American. So what? You're North American? Okay. So there is no place for races because the races doesn't even take a place. It's just an idea. But let's go back to that passion. Where did that passion come from? Well, I was in part in that passion. That passion was given to me. That passion, I saw my parents, I saw my grandparents, I saw all of them cheering and loving. In 1986, we won the World Cup. 1978 too, but I was just 1 year old, so I don't even remember. In 1986, we celebrate, we scream it. So every time the World Cup comes, even though we get these great disappointments, but above all, let's switch it. What I love even more deeply now is that you see me sometimes crazy. Huh? Great are you, Lord! Because the same way that I was raised with this Argentinian passion, I was raised with a godly passion. I used to go to church and I see my family coming to the altar, crying out. My mom, for us having a Coca-Cola, it was a treat. We put a Coca-Cola on the table and it was a celebration. It was such a celebration that we have so much passion. I have a brother and a sister. And there was this 1 liter Coke. Then later on they come out with the 2 liter. We were celebrating. Yes, 1 more liter. So they were putting it at the table and they would put a little for me, a little for my sister, a little for my brother. And there was always a little left over. So we would look and we saw passion for that Coca-Cola. Then we were like, I will be looking at my brother, and suddenly that passion becomes like, who's going to take the rest? So regardless of the Coca-Cola and all this, why that I was saying that is because through all those hard seasons, what I always saw in my parents is the love that they have for Christ. My mom became a master in music, and you know why? She have an organ in her house, she have a piano. But if the church was needing an organ, guess what? She gave it away. Then the church was needing a piano, she gave it away. When we come to the United States, they sent me and my brother because I was struggling in Christianity, so they sent me here to what? Save my life. So even though you see this passion for Argentina and soccer, well, let's put the passion for Christ. Where did that come from? From my parents. There was something that was given to me. They come from generations. My great-grandfather became a Christian. He was an Orthodox, what we believe Jewish. And after World War II, he was doing World War. Right before World War II, around World War II, he was in the boat. And what we know that in that boat, somebody shared the gospel with him. And he became a Christian. And he came and became so passionate for the Word of God that he went to a Russian church in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, and after that, when he learned a little of the Spanish that he knew, he asked and said, I know about this Christ, so send me to the Indians. Send me where nobody wants to go, because how do they will hear about God if we don't share it? He opened hundreds of churches in the south of Argentina. Thousands got saved because of our grandfather. So now all that have been imparted to us. And I remember I saying in California in 1985, 1986, I started being a worship leader at a young age. But through all that, I will say, I will never be a pastor. I don't want to deal with people. I want to worship God, but let the pastor deal with the people. But one day I opened this book that somebody they wrote after my grandfather was dead. They got all his readings and pictures and his own diary and make a book. And I was reading this book, and as I'm reading this book, I received something. What did I receive? I received the love that my grandfather had. By seeing why he will leave he had 11 children. He will leave his 11 children, get inside of the jungle, and don't come back for months. So I saw this great love in my grandmother that never even complained with 11 children. We cannot even take care of 20 something. She had 11. She lived until she was 90. My grandfather would leave and share the gospel. And I started seeing this love and change everything on me, because I was like, sorry God for being so selfish. That I don't want to be a pastor because I don't want to deal with people. But look at my grandfather. He lived his life to share with people. I have a great wife. Part of the way of choosing this wife is because my father saw her. We were in California. I was leading worship and my dad came. She came in. I got distracted. I can share that on another day. I was leading worship. I was like, ooh, look at that blondie. So I had to close my eyes and, great are you, Lord. She's great too, Lord. You know what I mean? Amen and amen. So my dad came and said, that's the wife. That's the woman for you, because it's pretty obvious that she loved God. She went through the school shooting. So my dad said, when you go through something like that and somebody shot you and then and you pray for God, you either love God or hate God at that point. So my dad said, I see love in her. And you need somebody that will love God even more than you. Amen. So 4 years later, I went and I find her. I didn't scare her and let her know, my dad chose you for me, You're mine. So that's a different story, but now we're married. And why did I say all this? Because I'm going somewhere here. We need that love. But that love in the right place, because if we put our love just in soccer, you know what happened with one of the Colombians, goalkeeper? He accidentally scored against his own country, went back home, they killed him. So love in the wrong place, it can become really catastrophic. These people think that they love and so passionate for the game that they do stupid things. My dad knew about my wife. Our son was hospitalized. We were going through hard moments. And this is what she wrote to me. I love you. I'm going to cry in this one, okay? She doesn't even know that I'm saying this. I got a mission trip and I was going to the Indians. My mother-in-law said, go son. Go, because we understand. We got you back. But where did all this come from? Where did all this come from? From love. If you love Christ, you want to talk about Christ. And that's why God changed my message. If I talk to you about being a good servant or serve, because the Bible even say the apostles, the prophet, the evangelists, the teachers, all of them are just to serve. And yes, but if you just serve because you just know that you have to serve, it's different than when you serve because you love. So my mother-in-law said, go sons, preach the gospel. Don't let this fight. My wife wrote this, I love you. I know that you are who you are, and I know what He called you to be and do. Don't let this storm keep you from your eternal destiny. Cheer up. You got this fight. You got this fight, and fight it there, this evil there. We got it here. You got our love blessing my wapo, which wapo means handsome. Okay, I'm just saying. But where do all these come from? It's just like having your priority in the right place. So why did I want to talk? Why did I have mumbling through all this? Well, maybe you were not raised in the way that I was raised. Maybe you don't come with this such a loving, or maybe you have the wrong wife, the wrong husband. Guess what? If you're still married to that same person, that's it. So that's why you're here, to work on it. But let's open our Bible in 1 Corinthians 13. Whew. I went away so that you can read it in your Bible so you don't get distracted with my accent. Though I speak with tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I have become sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and I understand all the mysteries and all the knowledge, and I thought I have all faith so that I could move mountains, but have no love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods and to feed the poor, and I thought I give my body to be burned, but I have no love, it profit me nothing. And this is what I'm going. Love is suffer longs and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not pride. What is it? Pride himself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek it own, is not provoke things not evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoice in truth. Bear all things, believe all things, hope all things, endure all things. Love never fail. But wherever there are prophecies, they will fall. Wherever there are tongues, they will cease. Wherever there is knowledge, it will vanish away. For we know in parts, and we prophesy in parts. But when that which is perfect hath come, then which is in parts will be done away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I understand like a child, I thought like a child. But when I become a man, I put away the child things. For now we see in mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I am known. And now abide faith, hope, love, these three. But greater of these is love. Romans and John, we're going to see different things, but in John 3:16 we all know, for God what? That He give. For what? For God so loved you and me that He gave it. So the number one thing we need is to understand His love. If we understand His love, like I was raised to understand the love for the Argentinian team, you become passionate. Because it's giving to you. Well, let's take all these things away and think that the most important thing, if we understand the love of Christ for us, we will become passionate for Christ. You can talk about what? Having faith. You know, faith can remove mountains. Go pray for the sick people and, do all these things. You can talk about hope. I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord, to have hope in a good future. But above all is what? Love. Because everything starts in love. For God so loved the world that He gave you His Son. So now when we understand that love, then we cannot say no to go. Therefore, go and make disciples. Brother Parrish talked about last Sunday. The truth is, you will not have the passion. You will not even go and make disciples until you really understand how wide, how deep, how is the love of God for you. But there is a reality. So now we're all thinking, I know that I love God. Well, let's measure your love and what you do for that you love. Because maybe the enemy have distracted us, and we have been putting our love in things that we shouldn't be putting our love. Because a lot of things we say will pass away. Actually, it says if we go and feed the poor, if we do mission, if we do all this, but if we don't have love, it's nothing. So what did all this start? Well, number one, you need to know about this love. What are you doing here in church? Why do you even take your family to come to church? Because we need that love. We have understood that love. We need it. We need it. See, we were singing a couple minutes ago, as you prayed and not alone, so we put out our praise. The truth is, if we are not in love like we should be, we just sounding like cymbal without sound. So I can encourage you the reasons why you should be in this platform and worshiping. And maybe you will do it for a couple of weeks because I explained it to you. But let me tell you, if you just understand the love of Christ for you, you will be running to the platform because you want that love. You can give that love. I can talk to you about going to missions, but the Bible says if you do all these things without love, it's nothing. Last night woke me up with a dream, and in this dream is, you know what, the whole meaning of the meaning was like what love can do. If you receive love, you're going to go and make disciples. Why? Because when you understand that love, you want to give that love. The problem is we have been filling our life with religions. We have been filling our life with methods. We have been filling our life with we have to do this and do and that and do that. And then we explode. We don't even want to have anything to do with church. Because you have been focusing on the wrong thing. I have been focusing on the wrong thing. So what did I need? Well, you need to understand the love of God. How do Romans 10, 14, 16, look, let's read this. How shall they call on him in who they are not believe? And how shall they believe in him in who they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? Well, I'm not a preacher. Shut up. You're not a preacher because you don't understand the love of God. If you and I understand the love of God, nobody will shut your mouth. We gotta set our priorities straight. We get distracted all the time. But when you love God above everything, you go to a hospital, and instead of focusing on you, you're focusing on what God want to do in the hospital. And then 20-something people get saved, not because of you, but because you love God and you just being a good donkey and obedient to God. If you love God, even though when you don't want to, you continue doing what you're doing for God because you love Him. Doesn't matter if people hate you or love you or applaud you or boo you or throw tomatoes on you. You love God more than anything. So let's go back to the love. Let's go back to what we need. Now when we love, we need to understand that nobody will quiet you. Nobody will quiet you. You know, when we look in Revelation, God is looking at the 7 churches. There was one that was beautiful, perfect, and everything. And you can find this in Revelation 2:4. But He exhorted them, say, man, I have seen that you have been good and obedient and all these things. But there is one thing. Go back to your first love. So what that take me to? To the second point. First, we need to know about love. We need to know about love. But secondly, we need to receive that love. You can know about God all your life. I knew about God. My grandfather taught me about God. My great-grandfather was a preacher. I knew about the love of God. But one day I received that love that made me today wanting to be an associate pastor. Why? Because I know that what He done for me, there's just a little that I can give back. That's why when I want to worship my heart out. Why? Because if we understand the love of Christ for us. So what do we need? Understand the love, then receive the love. Romans 10 say what it says. Let's go to Romans. 10:9. If you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God had raised him from the dead, you will be saved. We talk about this verse to lead people to Christ and to share about Christ with them. But the reality is, in that moment, what is happening? They understand in John 3:16 that God so loved them that he gave his son for them. So they understand that love, and in the moment that they receive that love, not only understand it, but receive that love and make it part of them, and then they confess and believe that God resurrected them, then they're saved too. So this is the starting point of love. But don't forget that sometimes you can start in that love, but later on, according to the revelation, those churches in Revelation, you can even fade away of that first love. You can, some people will not want to say it, walk away from that love. So if we can now, why did God exhort the church and say, I have one thing against you, go back to that first love? I'm not talking about salvation, I'm talking about the love of God. How do we carry our life? See, you want to fix your marriage? Love God above all. You want to be a good, discipler to the nation? Receive that love, because in the moment that we become this disciple of our Father, we will want to be disciplers. Why? Because we receive that love and we cannot even contain it. So we give love. That's why my dad was like, you need a wife to love God first. First of all, it got to put up with you, It got to put up with you, son. And the only way that I know is, no, that's a joke, but Romans say, if you confess, if you believe, so you have to receive it. And then in Romans 12:2 says this, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you might prove what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So now it's telling you, you have to not only understand and receive it, but you got to work on it. You got to go back to that first love. According to Revelation, you gotta, according to Romans, you gotta work with your mind, renew it with the love of God, put the love of God, because love endures everything. Love have no envy. Love have all these amazing things. The love of Christ. And guess what? The enemy, our life, our circumstances, our own flesh will constantly pull away ourselves from the perfect love of God. So whatever you're doing now, it becomes about you, when love is what doesn't seek his own. So what do we need? We need to go back to that love. Understand and receive it. Well, I serve the community. Well, are you talking about Christ with the community? Well, listen, go back to the first love yourself. Because you can love and serve the community and never even make it about Christ. You can sell your own body and burn it and everything, but all that is worth nothing. You can feed the poor, so what do we need? Go back to the first love, so that way everything that we do, we make it for his love, to love others. So it's not about yourself, it's not about me, it's about Jesus Christ. See, how the world know about Christ if you and I don't open my mouth? Well, I'm sharing, I'm serving them, yeah, but why? Because what are your motives? Are you in love and passion and love and first love of Christ? Like when you just got married, it's all about yes, yes, baby, whatever, yes, yes. And then the time go past and it's like, yes, shut up. No, I'm just saying, that's not you. That's not, I know it's not you. So what happened? Well, you had to work in that. You have to go back to the first love in your own marriage. You have to renew your mind according to Romans. Constantly remove it, renew it, and in this case, with the Word of God, you renew and you fetch yourself with His love so that you have love to give. See, my mom didn't give a piano away when growing up because she had extras. My mom didn't give her organ away because she had extras. And growing up, it's because they were teaching to learn and how to love God in such a way that whatever was needed was given. So they give not because they're going to receive 10 times fold. Give because you're going to receive more. We use the word of God for our own benefits. When it's all about His love, me receiving His love and giving His love away. So all you need to know is go back to that first love. Understand it. Receive it. That's why we come to church. Work on it. Renew your mind. Renew your flesh. So because if you are fully in love with God, then you will give because you love Him. Then you will speak to those that don't know because you love Him. When they asked Jesus, He said, the whole Bible is love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's all about love. You have benefits? Yes. Look, Romans 8:28. It says this. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. Who's called? Well, you've been called right now. Because it said, who will hear if nobody preach? Well, I'm preaching to you right now. And I say to you right now, God loves you so much that He gave His Son to you. Amen. If you are burned out, worn out, whatever, because of your circumstances, because of religious, because of people, go back to your first love. Forget about the people, forget about serving, forget about everything. Go back to the first love. Fill up your life with love. Because when you have love, it's the only thing that will remain. Everything will pass away. So go back to that love. Fall in love with God. Love on God. And guess what? Later on, because you love God so much, you're going to learn to love even your enemies. And you're going to sit down and hear an Argentinian preaching. Who will tell and say that in Marshall County you will have an Argentinian speaking to you? I'm just joking. Okay, so let's go back to that love. Because you love, you accept me. You better do. Plus now you have no option. I'm an American citizen. We're going to build a wall. Okay, so let's go back. It's going to be huge. People are going to say, you joke, we lost this. No, listen, life himself will throw circumstances in you and joke at you. But if you are building your life in love, in a reality, it's more than just this service. Amen. It's more than just this. It's going to have communion. I learned about loving God in my own home. More than the church. In the church, I learned different things. I received the baptism of the Holy Spirit, which was awesome. In the church, but at the church too, I saw so many issues and complex. My grandfather died when I was 10, so they had 9 different pastors and issues here and issues there. But you know where? In my own home, where I saw the love of God and my parents, that was happening here today. So my question to you is, what are your children seeing? What are your neighbors seeing? What is your community seeing? What is your wife saying about you? What is your husband saying about you? When nobody else sees you, do they see that you love God above all? Yeah. And that yes, you have issues, but you're working on it because you love God so much that you are allowing God to take away that pride, take away that jealousy, take away that control, take away those issues in you. If you love God, you will work with all that. Because God becomes everything and everything that you can want to have. So what do we do? Number one, you already know about God. Because you're hearing about God. Then receive it. Don't resist it no more. It's not that we look in for you to run to the platform when we do an altar call. But if you understand that you need more of that love, you will be running. Not because Pastor Richie invited you to the platform. It's because you cannot wait to come to Sunday to celebrate it with everybody and want more of that love. But Damian, it's not just about church. I understand it's about everything. So if you're lacking in something, run for it and get it. That's why I say if somebody's in need, have the elders pray because they understand what they're praying. Have the church cry out with you, for you. so that you will understand how deep is the love of God for you. What are we doing in this church? Fill up yourself with love. Understand it. Understand, receive, and then work on it. Work on it. Work on it. Because if you choose love, then you will have all the attributes of love. You will have all that amazing things. It does not envy, does not sink himself. Oh, it does not. It does not. It just hope for everything, wants everything, love everything. That's the perfect love of God. And that's what we're doing here, church children. Those children right here, they need to see the love of God. Not only here, but in your home. We have issues, yes. But they need to see us working those issues because we love God above all. Amen. So what do we do from now on? Well, you ask yourself what you should do. What are you? Are you at the point that you understand the love of God but never really say, God, I receive it? Or are you at the point that you have been Christian for so long, but somehow you have lost that first love? Well, work on it. Let's work together. I'm going to ask the worship team to come out. And they're going to play a song or two. But the reality is more about the song or not song. Right now you need to make a decision of reality checking you. Say, what am I? If you're visiting today and say, listen, I heard about God, but I never say, God, I invite you to my heart, I invite you to my... Well, today is your day. Today is your day. You can say, Jesus, I give you my heart, I give you my soul. But what you're doing is, you're inviting that love in you. You're inviting that love in you. Listen, for a long time I went to church. I was sitting because my parents take me there. But I'm thankful today. But I didn't understand. I didn't even want to be in church. Until one day, I said, God, I want to know that love. Not because of my grandfather, not because of my dad, not because of my mom. I want to know that love. And that love got a hold of my heart. And what did I do now? I work on it. I'm constantly checking my own self to see, God, give me that more of that love. I want to have that love. Because sometimes the reality is like, I love, and it's easy to love those that love me back. But it's hard to love those that don't. So I got to go, God, I know that your love is different. You love your enemies. So help me, Lord. So everybody, right there we are, you don't even have to stand. You don't even have to show me your hands. Because the reality is, what I want is for you, right there where you are, to be honest to yourself and say, Jesus, I need that love. And I know we all need it. Now, in which area we need it, I don't know, only you know. I know that I need to work more on this love. Sometimes I do things, but not because out of love, like the Bible says. Sometimes I give not out of love. I'm being honest. Sometimes I do things and it's not out of love. And the Bible is teaching me that's worth nothing. So what can I do? Is work on it. So if you ask me today, I'm the first one to be in this altar saying, God, give me more of that love. And the amazing thing is just like this dream that I have. When you love, doesn't matter what is around you. It can be a tornado. It can be you're living the worst of your life. But that love in the right place, which is God, will give you the strength, will give you the hope. It will give you everything that you need to go through. But without love, we can't. So right now,